Eyewitness Testimonies and Investigative Interviews. Juries frequently rely upon eyewitness testimonies when deliberating. Therefore, the accuracy of eyewitness memories are very important. Despite this, 75% of cases where DNA evidence revealed wrongful conviction, the guilty verdicts were found to be decided upon inaccurate eyewitness testimonies, according to the Innocence Project. Therefore, research into memories, testimony collection, and court case conductions may reveal the reliability of eyewitness testimonies in providing the truth during investigative interviews. Memories cannot provide reliable accounts as they are continuously reconstructed and influenced by schemas. Schemas are thought patterns or behavior based on prior experiences, knowledge, and contexts which enable us to interpret and organize our environment. Our schemas fill in gaps in our knowledge and simplify how we process information. Unfortunately, this can impact our ability to recall information accurately as our memories are reconstructed and biased by these schemas. Eyewitness testimony recounts can therefore be significantly distorted in this way. Recall accuracy can be influenced by many things throughout the investigative process, such as being exposed to misleading information or questions, anxiety, and age. Leading questions and post-event information are two examples of misleading information. Leading questions increase the likelihood that witnesses' schema will influence them to answer in a desired way, whilst post-event information is where misleading information is added to a question after the crime. Leading questions in an investigative interview can impact the reliability of eyewitness testimonies. For example, Loftus and Palmer, 1974, conducted a study where participants estimated the speed a car had, contacted, hit, bumped, collided, or smashed into another. Participants reportedly mistook seeing broken glass when told smash instead of hit. This suggests that at recall, misleading information is reconstructed with material from the original memory, damaging eyewitness testimony's reliability in reporting accounts of crime. Vicarian and Bowers, 1983, found that post-event information may affect memory retrieval rather than memory storage. In their study, participants watched scenes leading up to a car accident and found that despite being asked misleading questions, their memories remained unchanged. Furthermore, Loftus, 1975, asked participants to watch clips of a car driving and asked them how fast it was going when passing a barn. A week later, 17% reported seeing the barn even though it didn't actually exist. This shows that when misleading information is added to a question after the event, memories can be altered. Post-event information effects could therefore also influence eyewitness testimonies during investigative interviews. Inaccurate eyewitness testimonies have had significant consequences in criminal cases. For instance, in 1984, Thompson's flat was broken into where she was held at knife point and sexually assaulted. Reportedly, Thompson carefully memorized the attacker's appearance during the ordeal so to report him. With the police, a sketch was drawn of the suspect from Thompson looking through hundreds of images of facial features. From this, the police apprehended Ronald Cotton, to which Thompson declared her absolute certainty multiple times that he was the perpetrator. Due to Thompson's irrefutable certainty in her eyewitness testimony, Cotton was imprisoned for 11 years. However, in 1995, DNA evidence revealed that Cotton was actually innocent, as cited by the Innocence Project. There have been many cases of wrongful imprisonment and executions due to inaccurate eyewitness testimonies. The Innocence Project has worked to exonerate 362 wrongly convicted men, imprisoned by incorrect eyewitness testimonies. In regard to leading questions, it is not conclusive whether inaccurate recalls are due to demand characteristics or genuine changes in witness memories. Nevertheless, research demonstrates how easy it is to insert false memories into people's lives as memories are vulnerable to suggestion and subtle association changes. Therefore, it may be challenging for interviewers to extract truthful information from witnesses. People commonly suffer anxiety when witnessing a crime which can distract them from noticing important details. Deffenbacher, 1983, highlighted this with the Yerkes-Dodson inverted U hypothesis, demonstrating that moderate emotional arousal increases memory accuracy and recall detail, but only to an extent, whereafter higher levels of arousal decreases recall quality. Freud, 1894, suggested that anxiety impairs memory recall and that forgetting protects the individual from distress. This can be inferred by multiple studies such as Loftus et al., 1987, who established that during a crime, if the perpetrator is carrying a weapon, witnesses will focus primarily on the weapon instead of their face. This reduces witness ability to later recall facial details during investigative interviewing. Furthermore, anxious witnesses struggle to recall significant detail from peripheries of criminal scenes in comparison to witnesses who view neutral events. This supports how anxiety can impact attention to detail, affecting the reliability of an eyewitness testimony in an investigative interview. Anxiety experienced from reliving the trauma of a crime and the investigative process itself may also worsen the witness's ability to recount events reliably. Eyewitness testimony accuracy and reliability during investigative interviews can additionally be affected by the witness's age, as cognitive abilities vary between ages and diminish as people get older. For example, children tend to be more accepting of inaccurate information from adults as they do not want to oppose authority figures. Roberts and Lamb, 1999, revealed that in child abuse cases, 68 out of 161 child interviews had been misinterpreted by investigators, to which 2 out of 3 of the mistakes were not corrected by the children. Nevertheless, children demonstrate far greater accuracy and detail when relaying serious events such as theft. However, this accuracy is dependent upon how they are questioned, as very young children demonstrate increased susceptibility to post-event information and leading questions. Krakow and Lin, 2003, reported that children under 6 who had been inappropriately touched answered truthfully when questioned directly and inaccurately when asked with a leading question. Child abuse cases have significantly increased in recent years, meaning that more children are having to deliver testimonies. Young children are able to do so with accuracy, but only if correct procedures are employed so to prevent the risk of suggestibility, guessing, or demand characteristics from impacting their statements. Therefore, it is critical that police consider carefully their mode of questioning during investigative interviews in order to get a truthful and reliable eyewitness testimonies. Those interviewing children need appropriate training so to be aware of developmental factors and capabilities. Children need to be familiarized with legal procedures and how to respond to questioning. For example, letting the child know how and when to use a "I don't know" response. Furthermore, children making lineup identifications need to be informed about nonverbal response options. For example, indicating scratching their head to demonstrate not remembering. Children also need to be given instructions and demonstrations of how to select someone from a lineup or to convey that they are not there. The professional working with the child should not be involved in the investigation itself so to prevent the risk of bias. They need to ensure that appropriate language is used for the child's age and developmental capabilities with the prohibition of leading questions or misleading information. Elders also have a tendency to be less accurate and detailed in their accounts and are more vulnerable to misleading information. Elders also tend to make more incorrect identifications, with males particularly being more prone to error when exposed to misleading information. Coxon and Valentine, 1997, also highlighted such age effects in eyewitness testimony accuracy. In this study, different age groups were asked questions regarding a video of a kidnapping. Some groups were asked questions containing misleading information, whilst others were not. The results revealed that young adults answered more correctly than older adults and children, whilst older adults displayed less suggestibility than younger adults. Children and elders were less accurate in their recall than young adults, therefore proving to be less reliable truth-tellers in investigative interviews as witnesses. Elderly participants provided less complete recalls but were not more susceptible to misleading information. These results support that eyewitness testimony reliability varies between age groups, that elders remember the least, but what they do remember is more reliable than any other age groups. There are many other factors that can influence the accuracy and reliability of eyewitness testimonies during investigative interviews. For example, Greathouse and Kovra, 2009, established that lineup administrators can subconsciously bias witnesses' judgments. Therefore, it is recommended that double-blind lineups are used instead so that the officer conducting the lineup has no connection to the case and does not know the suspect's identity. Moreover, certain personality types have been found to be more affected by misleading questions, anxiety, and demand characteristics. People scoring higher in empathy and imagery vividness measures also tend to have poorer memory recall and are supposedly more vulnerable to producing less truthful eyewitness testimonies in investigative interviews. In addition, eyewitness testimonies can be affected by perceived possible consequences. For instance, Foster et al., 1994, highlighted that people who witness crime and believe their evidence can help a court case are more likely to produce accurate eyewitness testimonies. Psychology explains that there are multiple ways to enhance someone's accuracy and retrieval of memories, such as using external, context-dependent cues, internal, state-dependent cues, the chunking method, mnemonics, visual imagery mnemonics, verbal mnemonics, and active processing. However, to improve the richness and reliability of eyewitness testimonies during investigative interviewing, the cognitive interview is generally used. The cognitive interview was developed from Tulving's 1974 theory, suggesting that there are multiple retrieval paths for memories which are not necessarily accessible through one method alone. Therefore, cognitive interviews employ two techniques by changing the narrative order, for example, recounting the event from the end, backwards, and by changing the perspective of the witnessed event, for example, recounting what happened from the perpetrator's perspective. This should enhance memory retrieval so to create a fuller picture. Other principles underpinning cognitive interviews come from Tulving and Thompson's encoding specificity theory, 1973, whereby memories consist of multiple features that consequently require multiple retrieval cues in order to access the most information. This principle involves a mental reinstatement of context by getting the witness to mentally return to the crime's environmental context. This means the location, what the weather was like, etc., and the emotional context, such as how they felt. From this, witnesses are encouraged to report everything, even if elements feel trivial. By doing this, cognitive interviewing encourages the more important memories to resurface. Cognitive interviews encourage the witness's use of prior knowledge in their recall, as well as their expectations and schemas, which all contribute towards increasing their eyewitness testimony accuracy. If cognitive interviewing is used within a short time frame after the event of a crime, it proves to be very efficient in producing the most recalled information and reliable eyewitness testimonies when compared to standard interviewing techniques. This has proved especially true when getting witnesses to engage in context reinstatement and to report everything. When doing this, recall has been the most accurate and detailed. Despite cognitive interviewing's success, it is comprised of multiple techniques that are used differently across police forces, therefore making comparative assessments of its validity difficult. Furthermore, cognitive interviews are only suitable for witnesses over 8 years old, as it yields less accurate responses in children younger than other techniques do. The enhanced cognitive interview also serves as a key investigative interviewing technique, so to attain increased eyewitness testimonies reliability. This method includes extra features such as minimizing distractions and anxiety, asking the witness to speak slowly, and by getting investigators to ask open-ended questions. Research has demonstrated that enhanced cognitive interviews are notably superior in gathering facts in comparison to standard investigative interviewing techniques. However, despite this, enhanced cognitive interviews have also been found to elicit false positives when incorrect items are recalled. In conclusion, it seems unlikely to be possible to elicit the whole truth and nothing but the truth from eyewitnesses during investigative interviews due to age, anxiety, and personality factors, as discussed. However, eyewitness testimony reliability and accuracy can be improved by officers receiving appropriate training and being mindful of bias, questioning techniques, witness developmental factors, and capabilities so to avoid negatively influencing vulnerable and malleable memories. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.